We the pod football. We disky. We history. We stats. We goals. We transfers. We hear people. We back again, and we're gonna be talking about the EPL. We're gonna get right into it, but before we get right into it, let me introduce my guest for the day, Roka. How are you doing, Ski?
Good, thanks to yourself.
Wonderful. Let's get right into it. 2-1 Chelsea versus Leicester. Goals coming from Nicholas Jackson and Enzo Fernandez in the 15th and the 75th minute, respectively, and a consolation goal from Andre Ayew. What do you give Enzo Maresca on this match? Did he do well? Chelsea was released.
Yeah, I think they really performed well. Chelsea has struggled for the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
I think right now they're in a better position in the league. I think they're number 3.
Yeah, they're currently third with 22 points.
Yes. So, yeah, even like the depth of the Chelsea squad. Yeah. I think Enzo is really, he's came in and he fitted well into the whole Chelsea team. And yeah, I think they playing some nice football.
And one thing I like about Chelsea, the players, like in terms of squad rotation, they're all on the same level. You take out Noni Mudieke, and then you put in who kind of was a Ukrainian player.
Modric.
You see, it's like players of the same level. Wow. You take out Neto, you know what I mean? It's like...
It's more balanced.
Yeah, it's a lot more balanced.
Although they spend a lot of money, I think over $1 billion.
It's a rebuild.
Yeah, but I feel like, sometimes with soccer, especially with the financial fair play rules, it's not really advisable to be going so hard on signings. You need to chill a bit, just assess your current squad, see who you can work with instead of just signing loads and loads of players.
Especially
I think
contracts as well.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They have to even give longer contracts, because the signing, everybody literally they can get their hands on. You know what I mean? So yeah, but honestly speaking, right now, it's not like it's wasted money because we can see their position in the league. It's a good position to be in.
Next match, I think that's fair. Next match, Bournemouth versus Brighton. Bournemouth, who are currently in 5th position, if I'm not mistaken. You're currently in 5th position with 22 points. So it's basically 3 teams that are joint third, Arsenal and Brighton. They were Arsenal, Brighton, and Chelsea. Brighton won 2-1, goals coming from João Pedro and Mitoma. And 93rd minute from Brooks for Bournemouth. What do you say about them?
Well, Brighton have been, like the giant killers. They've been actually.
They beat Arsenal. They beat Man City.
You know what I mean? Like they've been there. They've been around. Actually, they're playing some good football. Even though they've had like change of coaches, they've been consistent. I think the whole structure of Brighton is proper to such an extent that they actually don't even need a coach, in my opinion, because it kind of seems like it's a well-oiled machine.
It is the recruitment and whatnot.
Yeah, because they started, I think, performing real well with Graham Potter, and then that guy, that Italian guy, what's his name? He's at Marseille now.
Yeah, he's at Marseille now.
Yeah, you see, even after he left, they still, up there, fighting for the top 6, if not 80.
Excellent recruitment. Mara, they're gonna stay there.
With the way they're playing, yeah, I think so. You never know what's gonna happen. There's a lot of things, like there's a lot of games being played at the moment. There's like injuries, but you know what? As a team, they play really well. So yeah, they might stay there a bit longer. Yeah.
Okay, I know that's understandable. Next fixture, Arsenal took on Nottingham Forest, and they won 3-0 with goals coming from Bukayo Saka, Thomas Partey, and the teenager Ethan Nwaneri. I'm very happy with that.
Of course you will be happy. That's your team, man.
That's my team.
Yeah, if your team is doing well, then who wouldn't be happy?
And we beat the team that beat Liverpool, so maybe we can beat Liverpool. Why not? We won 3-0. That was nice to see.
Didn't you play them already?
No, we haven't played them.
You haven't played them?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll definitely be looking forward to that one.
Now, have we played them? No, we did. It was 1-0, eh?
Yeah, I think so. We all played like a draw. I'm just not,
Now you're right, we played them already.
Liverpool, yes, doing good. But yeah, right now, I think they're leading. But as the coach said, when you have Man City, you can't be he's saying now, yeah, you can definitely win the league. I mean, Arsenal themselves were at some point 8 points ahead of City, but somehow slipped up.
Yeah,
this season, although
sleepy on ice.
yeah, although you have a couple of hiccups here and there as a team, but yeah, I still feel like it's stable. I don't know if you feel like Arteta is the right man for the job since he bottled the league last season.
I don't feel like he's the right man for the job. If he doesn't win a cup this season, I feel like it's time for him to bounce.
Okay. How long has he been there?
5 years.
5 years. And 5 years is how many seasons? 4.
But basically, dude.
Yeah. Okay, but you know what?
But 10 transfer windows. He spent more than Jurgen Klopp. I'm not saying he's a bad manager. Don't get me wrong, people. Man, I feel like we need her to have more ambition.
Okay, you don't feel like he's ambitious enough.
He's not that level.
Then who would you have coming to replace him?
Okay, that's a good question. I got a couple of names.
Uh-huh.
My dream signing Diego Simeone, but that's not gonna happen. Let's be honest, people. Inzaghi, the current Inter Milan, and not because of what happened in the Champions League. And then, who's the Brentford manager? It's Thomas Frank. I feel like he deserves that big move,
and so that he can showcase his
basically
skills.
Basically, become a legend in the league. He become a legend in the league. I feel like if he doesn't win this season, I'm gonna Arteta out. But I've been Arteta out since before he came in. I didn't feel like he was the right manager. Bearing in mind Guardiola and Klopp.
Is it about the experience though?
Exactly. It's exactly about that experience. Okay. So taking on the likes of Klopp and Guardiola.
But he did try. He pulled his weight. It's not like you know what. Although
he made his CV look nice. Yeah, I agree. His CV looks nice.
Is it about you or is it about?
I think it's about the club, dude, and it's Arsenal, right?
Okay.
It's about the club. Okay. To talk about a former Arsenal man, Unai Emery, who's currently at Aston Villa. They hosted Crystal Palace and it finished 2-2, goals coming from Ollie Watkins, Ross Barkley, Sarr, and Devaney of Crystal Palace. Ollie Watkins has been looking sharp to say the least. He's in the top scores, I think. He's not in the top score, top 10 definitely. They've been looking good, and they've also been looking good in the Champions League. They're currently in 8th position in an automatic qualification spot. What you got to say about them?
Well, yeah, Aston Villa, they've been coming along nicely. They've been performing. They beat like Bayern, the likes of Bayern in the Champions League. They really playing some nice football at the moment. I'm actually, I love Duran.
John Duran.
Yeah, he's
quality player.
Yeah. Proper. They've been doing really good.
Well, he's not getting a lot of game time. He's mostly coming off the bench. Do you feel like a move is going to be what's needed for him?
You know what? Sometimes if it's not broken, you can't fix it. You just can't let it flow. He's been a super sub. Maybe the coach prefers it that way, and it's working, honestly speaking. Although I think he hasn't scored in like 4 matches or so, if I'm not mistaken. But I feel like the coach's system maybe just prefers him coming off the bench instead of just starting. I think he has a couple of starts under his belt. But he's a proper. Maybe he'll get his turn to actually start. Like more often, more regularly.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
And then in the Champions League, how far do you think they'll get?
With the new format, it's a bit tricky because they in 8th right now. It don't mean that they've already qualified for the knockout stages. So I think let's just give it time and let's just see where they can finish. But I think they can get to the knockout stages, and from there, then who knows? Maybe quarterfinals, maybe the most.
Depending on who they face.
Yeah, depending on who they face, because there's a likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona,
and they do have the squad depth.
Yeah, the depth is there,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of teams that are in form in Europe around, what I mean. Yeah. So we shall see.
Everton played a 0-0 draw, a stalemate with Brentford. Not really much to talk about. It's been a hard season though for Everton. We're currently in 15th place. They managed at least to get a decent draw. They currently sit about 6 points outside of the drop zone. Sean Dash is definitely the man to keep them up. I mean, he was the Burnley manager, and all them seasons he kept them up.
Yeah.
All the season they
He's
were
been
there.
there.
They were the relegation favorites, but he managed to keep them out.
Mhm.
With Vincent Company, who's now moved to Bayern Munich, a lot of people felt like he shouldn't have gone there, but they're in the championship now. Burnley. He's now the current Everton manager. I feel like it's a good appointment. What do you think?
Yeah, I feel like he's a good tactical coach. You know, he moves his way. You know, like that's why he's kept Burnley, you know, up in the EPL for so long. You know what I mean? I just didn't understand what happened at the time that they have to let him go. But he's a proper coach. He's definitely gonna, you know, at least take Everton to the middle of the table. Not sure if it's gonna happen this season though, but yeah, it's definitely.
I think he has it in him too. He has the capability.
Yes, he most definitely has the capability.
Because English managers are not exactly the most successful in the Premier League, as you know. I mean, when you look at the top 10, there's one English manager.
But how many English managers are there right now?
In the league altogether.
I
think it's just Eddie Howe, Sean Dyche. Leicester they just sacked Steve Cooper. Steve Cooper, the former Nottingham Forest manager. So, and then the Southampton manager as well. So it's about four, as well as the Ipswich manager. Kieran McKenna, is he British? Is he Irish?
Irish or I think so.
Yeah,
Irish, But yeah, man. So basically, the whole thing with English managers not performing well. Honestly, I don't know what's the trick about it, but there are some good coaches, and we have to give credit where it's due. Sean Dyche is a proper coach. He's a proper coach.
Yeah.
You can't take that away from him.
Yeah.
Although maybe he also, like you've been saying, your favorite manager for us, Thomas Frank.
Absolutely.
Maybe he also deserves a chance.
I think he does.
To actually, get into maybe so-called big team. And see what he can do.
Because ever since they've been promoted, they haven't looked like ever being relegated. I mean, they're
what
currently
I mean?
11th now.
Yeah.
So I feel like he'd be a better candidate just in case things don't work out for Arteta. But he still has a legacy there. Next match, Wolves Fulham. Wolves won 4-1 with goals coming from Mateus Cunha, quality Brazilian player. Unfortunately, he plays for a lower team, so it's hard to get places in the Brazil squad, but he's got 2 goals. He's been looking really sharp this season. Goal from Gomez and Gonzalo Guedes in the 95th minute, and a single goal from a former Arsenal man, Alexandre Iwobi. That was an interesting game to see the least. Wolves have been struggling a lot this season, currently in 17th position, 1 place outside of the relegation, but they do share points with 18th place. What do you have to say about them?
Yeah, Wolves struggles. I don't know, man. I feel like maybe it's
probably this thing of selling their quality players too.
Yeah, of course, it has to do with that, because at the end of the day, if you can't afford to keep your quality players, then you have to sell them. But of course, you have to be looking at your development, academy players. Yeah, but I feel like with Wolves, they still not the relegation team at the moment. I feel like they can still survive the relegation, and we remember still early in the season. So I think they can pick up some form.
But definitely stay in the league, at least.
Yeah,
for one more season.
Yeah, most probably.
Next match, West Ham versus Newcastle. That was a match that was played on Monday. That was our last fixture of the match day 12. I'd say it was a surprising loss for Eddie Howe. Again, we're going back to the English managers not necessarily doing that well. But Lopetegui has struggled with West Ham this season. They spent 140 million on transfers, but he did well to get the win, collect points. West Ham were currently in 14th position. Not really doing that well. What do you have to say about that fixture?
West Ham, I think one of the goal scorers was Saka. I think it was a good signing. I feel like in terms of maybe the form right now, maybe because they even spent that much, they brought in a lot of recruitment.
Yeah.
So it seems like the players maybe just need to like get along, like find a way to actually have chemistry.
Yeah.
Because it's all important. So I feel like they really did well. It's not a surprising win. They're struggling this season, but it's not really a surprising win. They can pull off a win. I feel like they're a good enough team to pull off a win.
Well, a lot of people would have said Newcastle should have done better, but you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, you can't
it
win.
happens. Yeah, it's not like Newcastle are doing well this season themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they're still in 10th, Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think for the last couple of seasons, I don't think it's a Newcastle standard. I don't know what you feel. I feel like they've been in and out of the top 4, you know, for them to be actually in 10th, right? You know what I mean? So yeah, but they can also progress. They can go up.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, it's not far from our conference place, our conference league finish.
Spot,
so
yeah.
basically. Now your team played a 1-1 draw with Ipswich.
Hey man.
Man United people.
Hey man. Yeah, you know what? Man United has been having problems for the longest of times. I mean, it's just our first game for Amorim. So I'm not really just trying to even hype them. I feel like, but this season we can definitely get a top 6 finish at least. Yeah, I just feel like we just need to. The players just need to understand the system of the coach, because even at a few points about a couple of players in our squad that they need to stop doing certain things. You know what I mean? Yeah, they need to stick to their positions and stick to the instructions that he gives them. So yeah, you know what, Ipswich also, I think they won the championship, right? Yeah, they've been doing well. McKenna has also been, yeah, but I feel like at the end of the day, it's not a bad draw.
Yeah,
we right now we can take a draw instead of losing against any other team. You know what I mean? So, yeah, because we still have to give the new head coach some time. By the way, he's not a manager. He's a head coach.
Yeah.
I don't know where they going with this, but I think they more trying to neutralize the whole manager thing about just being the one who's basically making all the squad decisions and recruitments.
And he decided not to.
Because even I think the sporting director, the position is. We've had someone who had he had no football brains.
Who, Ed Woodward?
Yeah, he had no football brains. He just made some impulsive signings at most. So right now, I think from the structure now, on the top, we really made a huge change, and let's see how it's gonna pan out.
All right, yeah, that's understandable. And then a 3-2 win from Liverpool against Southampton. The slot machine and his slot looking comfortable to say the least. He's currently in the top position, number 1 Liverpool with 31 points, also number 1 in the Champions League. Has been doing really well.
Yeah, I mean, Liverpool, I think most reason why they've also been performing, like I think they still have most of their players in the system. So I think Slot just came in and he just made sure that he just builds his chemistry with the players. And
that's the experience I was talking about that Arsenal, I feel like, Max. So you see how he had a quality system, and then he just applied his system and everything worked.
Yeah. Sometimes also it has to do with the players. We understand what the coach needs from him. You know what I mean? So he's doing pretty well, but it's not over. It's still early days. I mean, we saw it Arsenal. They led the league, even for the most days.
Yeah, you mentioned that already. Yeah.
You see, like it's never really over until it's over.
Because it happened twice, and you mentioned it twice. Okay, I'll give you that one.
Yeah. So it happens.
But speaking of the players,
so we must not, predict the future just because of the present. You know what I mean? The present is the present. The coach is doing well, and we must give credit where it's due. I mean,
and speaking of the players, Mohamed Salah's contract's up in the summer, if I'm not mistaken. And they haven't offered him a contract. Do you think they haven't? That's what he said. It came out that they said that.
I know.
Don't you think now there's a bit of an issue in terms of wages, because with him being 31, it's kind of hard. He's already earning over £300 at Liverpool, and he's 31. and now he's going to expect an increase, and a substantial one. Given now that there's in a Saudi Arabian league, they can cater for players that want exorbitant amounts of money. Do you feel like maybe Liverpool might call time on Salah?
The way it's looking, I feel like maybe Liverpool are ready to part ways with Salah. But are they really though? Like, honestly speaking, realistically wise, do they have a replacement, waiting, when he leaves so that he can fill the spot?
Yeah.
So Salah is still a world-class player. I mean, like, he's showing it even this season, he's still performing. So it's one of those, man. We don't know what's the thinking behind them not renewing the contract.
Yeah.
But I feel like maybe they have a succession plan, but we don't know what's the thinking. But I feel like he's still a valuable asset.
Yeah.
Never mind the contract. That's why there's negotiations. They have to negotiate, but they even negotiated anything with him. So kind of seems like they're willing to let him go, but can they afford to let him go?
And speaking of negotiations, one person that definitely negotiated for a new contract was Pep Guardiola for 2 seasons. However, they lost 4-0 to Spurs. That was shocking to say the least. You said you bet on it, eh?
Yeah, that was not shocking, man.
4-0. 4.
Yeah, the scoreline is shocking, but Man City losing overall is not shocking, honestly speaking. I mean, they haven't been really up to standard, up to Man City standard, or up to Pep standard, if I should put it like that.
Oh, it's not Pep's fault, it's the players.
No, I'm talking about just overall performance. Okay. We don't know if it's Pep or what, but Pep has mentioned it that he's lost most of his key players. You know what I mean? So it's more about right now. Is it shocking that they're losing? No. Maybe the first game out of this 5 losing streak, I'm not sure who they played, but right now because of the injuries, it's kind of not shocking. I think even Pep justified with the injuries, but we don't know if it's the injuries because most of the players are old. They're old, and I think they really need to get some fresh legs in. But we shall see if they can recover from this whole thing. Yeah.
Well, that wraps up match day 12 of the EPL